Good evening, Aaron.
Hi, Treb, how are you?
I am doing very well, and how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing alright. I'm really excited to get to talk to you again.
Yes, it's a very great excitement to speak to you again as well. And Rochelle, how are you doing this evening? Yes. Um, I know that you have many questions and ideas that you wish to share, so whenever you are ready to begin, you may.
Of course, okay. Let me see here. I guess, um, I wanted to start with, let's see here. Okay, I wanted to ask you about, something that occurred recently. I think this was about like a month or two ago. Um, this is kind of before discovering you and discovering Bashar, basically channeling in general. It was actually kind of new to me in a way. Um, but during this period of time, 2 months ago, I was just learning about how your beliefs affect everything, and the world around you changes to reflect your beliefs. And what had happened is I was just my brain was just working these new beliefs in, and I was just eating it all up. And I went to go meet my friend at the coffee shop, and we started talking about this topic on an even deeper level. And as we talked more and more and more, I felt like, in a way, like my reality just became unglued. Like I realized that uh, my I became like almost aware that I'm not. I don't know how to describe this. Became aware, I guess, of a bigger picture, so to say, to kind of like, um, that's the best I can make out of it. But anywho, as this was occurring, I started to feel weightless, and I started seeing shapes, like very intense geometric shapes that were seemed like they were constantly breathing and moving, and I was seeing it on my mind's eye, and when I would close my eyes, I could see it more vividly. And what was really significant about it is like the colors were not really like I ever see anywhere else here on Earth. They were so like vibrant and bright. And there's one. Well, I guess I kind of want to cut off there to see if you could help me understand so far what this is about.
Yes, the ideas of geometric patterns are coming from the greatest and or the smallest area of consciousness manifesting itself into a physical way, and this is the very greatest recognized tool to use from a non-physical to physical. And within each of these conscious noticing or perhaps conscious perception of these, each one of these, in a vibrant color in its own self, has very great meaning. Within the third eye, when you are able to perceive consciousness that is coming in to a projected state from the third eye or from the crown chakra area in a visualization, this allows you to see all colors that are outside of the physical spectrum. Even
Interesting.
Yes, and even within the idea of physical light that you are able to see, as we have expressed previous time that we have spoke to you, that even when you are looking at a very large amount of space, if you take 1 mile area and you are looking at a very small portion, then this idea is the availability that your eyes have to perceive a specific color patterns from the red into the violet.
Right.
And there are much greater amounts of visual aspects of light, but unfortunately, through the optical nerves and the eye organ that you have, you are not able to perceive these in a great way. So it must take a non physical perception of this. It must take a deep, conscious perception of this to be able to experience these colors.
Interesting. Is that why when people take drugs, you can see brighter colors seemingly? Is that because you're actually affecting the consciousness? Is that what is happening?
With specific drugs that are connected to the pineal gland, yes, this is very correct. There are many other drugs that perhaps uh, you would not see colors within, or if you are, it is nothing more than the mind playing tricks upon you. But within the
Okay.
pineal gland activation of all of the drugs that have effect directly to the pineal gland, uh, these are more sensory style of perceptions within your own consciousness, and this is why your eye is able to perceive even more colors in a visual perspective.
Interesting. Okay, well, there was one shape in particular I wanted to ask about because this one stood out quite a bit, and um, the reason why was because I know about chakras, but I'd never been able to really. I never knew them by heart, the colors and how they aligned. And after seeing this shape or this pattern, um, I now firmly, completely just think of this shape, and I instantly know where all the chakras go in the sequential order. And the shape it it looked like a vertebrae, like a spine, a spinal cord, with the very last, I guess, vertebrae you could say, being the smallest vertebrae. It got larger from the top, very tiny to the bottom. And what was interesting is that at the very, very top, it was like a pure white, I almost want to say like divine white light. Next was like a violet and or purple. Then it was blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. And it started swaying from a tip, very bottom, like a dog wagging its tail. And I saw that for most of the night, throughout the night, and it was really, really beautiful. But I was trying to understand what was the meaning of that particular one.
It is a representation of the chakra areas being aligned, and the reason that you are seeing it swaying from the bottom but remaining more stable in the top area is because this is the energetic pattern of most humans. In the very lowest chakras, there is much expansion and digression and expansion and digression. It is
Mhm.
very active, jumping from one energy to the next. But when you are able to reach into the higher chakras and fully activate them, they are much more stable. They are in one place. The consciousness projected mind within the third eye area and also the crown chakra area. Both of these are extensions of what you say to be the ladder that connects you to your oversoul or higher self. So these have to be stable. The lower energies are more to the physical based body, and this is why it is able to move and sway more actively because you are insinuating the idea of the physical body in motion, the physical body rapidly changing, but the connection to the oversoul is staying very still or staying less
Wow.
moving within this. And this is what is a representation of your consciousness's ability to experience the chakra alignment as well as the energetic patterns within humans, as well as the idea of the colorations. If you are able to perceive these colors in a way again, try to understand and focus upon different colors as well. Um,
Mhm.
when you are above this white and bright purple, there are many colors. One in specifically is very high dimensional color, one that is very energetic. And this is what you would say to be a pale silver or a pale silver white, perhaps. And this is a
Okay.
very intense color that is of activated chakra above the Earth's consciousness, a higher dimensional plane, if you will. And this one is very active with energy for you. So if you are able to perceive this one color more visually and more perception wise, then you will be able to experience much greater connection to these energies.
Wow. Okay, I will definitely try that. Um, I feel like that opportunity kind of caught me by surprise when that happened, and I kind of miss it just because it was so beautiful. And it's kind of like I want to do whatever it was just to get that again. And I almost feel like I have to do something to rock my whole world of understanding how everything works again. Is that true in a
Um,
way?
no, this is not necessarily true. If you believe that this is going to be true, then this is the only way in which you will be able to experience this. But if you are able to understand that you are manifesting all of these things from a deeper inside perspective, reaching out into the non physical, wishing to connect to the higher self in a greater way, then the greatest idea would be to place an intention within a meditation to be able to connect to this idea in a more permanent structure, to be able to place the physical form of this, the movement of this, and the colorations within this within your intention, and to focus on this very greatly in a meditative state. And then when you need this occurrence to happen, it will reconnect you most instantly.
Like in a conscious level or only in a meditative?
At first in a meditative and then more in the conscious, um,
Okay.
with your belief systems as well as the collective consciousness. Much work must be done first in the meditative state before
Okay.
you are able to experience the more conscious state. And this is why many entities who are using meditative states now in this time are working very hardly to meditate, and they are always having the idea, why am I not progressing? It is because they do not believe that they are progressing, that they are not, and as well as the understanding that it is not a simplification of overnight work to be done unless they are able to experience this and realign their chakras within their belief system. Most entities in the collective consciousness believe that it must be a process. You must work hardly to meditate,
Yeah.
plus the idea of intentions and also expectations. All of these have a great part to play within the human issue of meditation taking a great time.
Wow. It's interesting because you said like my chakras aligned because the time period it happened that was one of the most depressive months of my life, but I just kind of went on the binge of just trying to learn more about consciousness, and through doing so, I stumbled upon pretty much that and what's led me up to now talking to you. Um, I guess what I'm trying to say is I felt like I almost did nothing in a sense, like compared to, well, I guess that does align with what you're saying that I'm assuming I have to meditate just to reach that state.
Yes, and this is the
I see.
idea that stumbles many humans. They are working specifically to meditate so that they are able to connect to higher portions of themselves. So, in this journey, they are not truly enjoying this. They are seeing this as what they must do in order to achieve this. When most of the entities who are able to connect more instantly are using meditation as a fun, they are using this as their passion. It is the journey that excites them, not the end result. They are focusing completely upon this end result and not
Hmm.
enjoying the journey as it goes. And this is why they are not
Ah,
experiencing this connection, because they are believing they are disconnected and they are not having great sensations of pleasure and excitement within the meditation. It is only a task to be done in order to receive, and the expectations are made, and the energy is taken away from this.
I see. Okay. That's a really good explanation. Thank you.
Yes.
Um, I was curious. I can't. It is impossible for me to draw these things just because I don't. For one, like I can't do it off memory. I was only able to draw some of these as I was seeing it in my mind's eye, and there was another one in particular, and I wasn't even able to fully draw it. But I was curious. Is there any way, like, if I think of the image in my mind, would you be able to see it? Is that possible?
Within now, the now
Yes.
time, if you are seeing an image, if you are able to focus upon this and to send a most active and clear connection from the crown chakra area, then this can be perhaps an idea that I'm able to experience more directly.
Okay. I will do my best then. Can I try?
Yes.
Okay. Um, all right, here we go.
The only idea that I am able to connect to is something that is resemblance of a eight-sided figure.
Okay. This one was more triangular, with, I want to say, like spiraling hook feet, but where the hook would be, it forms into a ball. I don't know if Rob, the host, understands something called a Triforce symbol. From it's like three triangles making up, I believe, four triangles, and then within the center of that, there's another triangle. In regards to this particular image, there's a triangle within that. Man, it's really hard to describe this because these are shapes I've never ever seen before, and they move on top of it. And then the color is another feature that I don't see these colors anywhere else. So it's another difficulty in explaining that on top of itself.
Yes, it is much movement within the idea of this sided eight figure, and this is expressively difficult to connect to this signal when it does not have what you say to be a steady balance within this.
Yeah. Okay, well, at least tried. Well, thank you for letting me try at least.
Yes!
My next question is one of the questions I wanted to ask you last time. And it was another alien question. Or I think it's an alien question. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and ask anyways. About, let's say, this was Occupy Wall Street. So this was, I believe, around October, I think, 2011. Anywho, I was living in a living room with two roommates, and I had like a curtain or blanket just set up because I went, in a sense, homeless. So I was just living in their living room because they were so nice. And what had happened is that they had these two cats, and one of these cats seemed to be really, really skitsy and very anxious. And this one cat would see the electromagnetic stuff that I was telling you about last time. And at the time, it was weird for me because I had done such a great job of trying to ignore it, to kind of put more focus into my social life and social skills with people. But this cat would chase after these visuals, and it would kind of throw me back a bit. And what had happened was late one night, during this Occupy Wall Street week, a burst of white light just kind of like happened at the window up against where my whole little living quarters was set up. And it wasn't translucent. It was thick. It would look like a lot of electricity. Really hard to describe. It was like a thick white energy. And on top of that, it illuminated the entire room with light. Kind of like how when there's nothing on in the room but just a television, that type of light just illuminating everything within the room. It felt like it had tried to talk to me or contact me because it immediately woke me up from my sleep. And I didn't know if I was having this in a dream state or on another level. But at that point, as I was trying to discern that anxious cat comes out of nowhere and puts its paws on my chest, kind of like not noticing that I was sleeping there, and is just looking at this ball of light. And when I looked at the cat, I saw how shocked it was, and it made me instantly realize that, oh my gosh, I'm in the physical, this is happening in the physical. And that combining moment just kind of started to shoot me down in the direction of fear, and I started to feel myself go farther into fear. So I tried to kind of save myself, and the only thing I could think of to not be afraid was, I have to touch it. So I started leaning forward, and I stuck my hand out and started coming closer, sticking my hand towards this white glowing ball of light. And as I was going closer towards it, I was noticing the colors were ripping off. I had a painting that was right next to the wall from a window that had appeared. The colors were ripping off of the painting and being sucked into this white ball. And then I went to, as I got my hand, I finally touched it. When I got halfway, the cat freaked out and just ran away. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Don't touch it. And I said, no, I got to do this now, or else I'm going to be afraid. And I don't even know what'll happen then. I go and touch the white ball, and it disappears, but it's kind of like a vacuum happens. Like everything gets sucked away, and it's hard to describe. Like it just kind of sucked away within itself. And it was nighttime when this happened, and as it sucked itself away, when everything disappeared, um, I started to hear sound come back, like someone's turning up a volume, escalating it. Not like 1 second, no sound, next second there is sound. It slowly started to ease in, and it was like daytime, bright daytime, and my roommates were talking, and I was trying to piece together this obvious. I was obviously it was nighttime like a few seconds ago, and now it's broad daylight, and people are out and about. I'm sure someone had to have walked into me if during that whole occurrence, if I was, in that same, um, in the same time frame or in the same, I guess, zone as they were of reality. But anyway, I just want to like stop there because I can probably go on forever in details. But can you help me understand this?
Yes, with the
I'm sorry for a long
experience.
response.
Yes, this is fine. It is very great to share. Uh, the greater that you are able to express your own energy, the greater of the energy that I am able to perceive and also able to experience with you. And this is a very great idea. During this experience that you have, the specific energy is what you would say to be a trans-dimensional or interdimensional communication with an entity. This is not where they are taking the physical body and transferring it to, uh, let us say, from this time period, you are in a fourth or a third density area, and they are in the fourth. So as they are coming through to communicate, they must have an energetic conduit. And this is what the experience that you have is. While it is coming into your experience, you are starting to feel this great effect of the higher fourth density or even fifth density that they are residing from. This is why you are experiencing the great colors that you are, the very bright white area that you are. And this is also why you are experiencing the bending of the third density space-time, the sucking in of the color, the differences in the physical time that you experience. This is true and actual punching through from one density to the next through a communicative state. And as you are going to touch this, it disappears and this time is gone. And this is the experience of a connection. There is something within this memory that is incomplete for you. So if you are in a meditative state, if you wish to understand this to a greater degree, close your eyes, deeply meditate, and you will find a much greater portion of your experience that you did not remember.
Okay, so it was something indeed trying to contact me because so I was right about that then.
Yes!
Very interesting. Um, okay. I I mean, before I meditate, I was curious. Does this have anything to do with the previous entities from my other abductions? Or is there any relevance? Or is this a separate,
With
something
your
separate?
with your speaking and your words, I am able to feel this experience, but I am not able to place a specific energy, so it is not able to be connected to see if this is from one to the next. It is only able to be experienced within your own experience
Oh, I
and to
see.
be expressed to what this experience means.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yes!
All right, I'll have to meditate and find that one out. What else was I gonna say? Yeah, I felt like what they were going to say was super important too, and I had originally thought someone died because I've seen orbs when people die, but this was not like that. This was thick. It wasn't translucent, and the nature of it was just too different. And I had called my family. I'm like, oh, is mom okay? Is grandma okay? Everybody was okay, so that really confused me. So thank you so much in helping me with that. Cause
Yes, you are very welcome in this.
thank you. Okay, I got another one then. That's of a weirder nature, for at least for from our perspective down here. I think about a few months before that, I would say June, July, within that same year. Um, I went into a meditative. I went to meditate because I couldn't fall asleep, and I guess to try to speed it up a bit, I had my MP3 player in my ears, and my dad was right next to me, sleeping in the bed beside me. So I had that so I could kind of like tune him out, and I the song I was listening to had an escalating beat, like a high escalating, and like I guess I want to say the frequency. And when that was happening, I visualized out of nowhere just a white light, like a tunnel, going faster and faster. And as I started going faster and faster down this tunnel, I kind of just left my body. But it was very, very different for me because when I've left, like with this experience in particular, was not like remote viewing to me or going out of body to see something. I felt like I was almost ethereal, and everything was blue, a shade of blue. And I was also conscious of my physical body at the same time. So I was like conscious of two places at one time. And I kind of realized this. I'm like, oh, this is new. I haven't been here before. What should I do with this? So I went to go um, visit an ex-girlfriend, and then I decided like I can do. I'm really not testing the boundaries of this. I should. What's the craziest thing I can think of right now? So I'm embarrassed to say this because if this goes public, I probably will go public with this video, but I'm afraid of being judged. But the most powerful thing I could think of at that time was to have like a sexual manifest a sexual experience, or to see what a sexual experience in this realm would be like, because it's something that's very unknown. Very powerful and like high in sensations. Um, I thought of someone just random from my past, and I feel uncomfortable going too much into detail, but basically, it felt more real than it felt so real. It was more real than like real sex. I almost want to say, like, I couldn't believe it, but because I've never experienced anything like that before. But where it gets weird is that that Cyclops entity that I spoke to you about, how you gave me the actual definition version of him, what he really looks like. There was three of those guys there, and I don't know how I became aware of him, but I just did. And there's, I believe, three, and one of them turned and said to the other one, um, "Did you bring him up here? How did he get here? Did he get up here all by himself?" And they were talking amongst each other, and they started to piece together that I got up here on my own, and they became very, very excited. And I could sense that there was like a veil, like a barrier between us, me and those entities. I mean, and I started to feel that this sense that as time was, the more I was staying in here, the more time I was spending in this state, that veil, that barrier was going to thin, and they'd be able to make contact with me. And I didn't make the connection with them being like the Cyclops guys I was telling you about earlier. But I didn't know what to think, and I was very nervous because I felt I was on the edge of discovering something really big. But at the same time, I didn't know what to expect, and I felt like almost a weird sensation from them, like a sexual excitement from them. And I started, during this experience, I felt like my bed was in a seesaw motion. And this was a sensation I used to have all the time as a little kid with those entities used to carry me on my bed and then throw me off a cliff to like my death. And so since I was able to recollect that at that moment, I decided to just back out and not see what would happen when the barrier dissipated. And so I backed out. Do you think you could first explain to me what was going on with that whole experience?
Yes, within your experience, it is an astral projected state in which you are able to have a high manifestational quality to this. This is not common as in an actual or a normal human astral projected state. Most humans are able to astrally project into the physical world. This is an astral projection into the dream realm or the realm above the physical realm. And this is where you are able to manifest things, but also you are able to co create experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Within your experience, due to the fear of these entities and due to the experience and connection that you had with them, you are co creating an experience where you are manifesting a version of them into your experience. And as you are thinking of this veil shrinking, this brings you back to the old memories of the fearful states that you have been in when you connect to these. So, this is the reason that you are fearing that there will be a disconnection. Uh, and also the idea of the sexual encounter that you are experiencing. The sexual encounter is a very low energy. If you are looking into the chakra areas, it is residing within the first and the second chakra. This is why many entities in an astral projected state, ones that many humans call the succubus or incubus, these are very sexual entities and very low energetic portions, even though their energy overall may be very strong, they're at a very low vibration because they are only connected to the sexual energy. So anytime there is a sexual experience in an astral projected state, this is bringing out a low vibration and can attract any entity whose vibration is matching this.
I see. That makes sense. Because from my perspective of the experience, it felt like um, I did not even. I totally forgot about all those guys. I didn't. I didn't even know who they were. Um, I only started to piece the puzzle pieces after the last time we talked. Like, okay, now I know who those guys were from that dream, or that this experience I'm telling you now. I was able to identify, but I felt. Are you sure that I had I thought of them that attracted them, or was it the low vibrational act that I was doing that brought them towards me? Because
If you are looking at it in this way, it is a co creation of the three entities with you as well as the sexual partner. But in your astral projected manifestational state, you are the strongest entity within your own existence. So even if you are not thinking directly of them, you are still in a subconscious way attracting them to you. This sexual act brings the low energy, and this
see,
vibrates at a level in which they are able to connect you. They are already within your knowledge. You are within their knowledge as well. So it is a co creation. But if you look in a very specific manner, then you created every aspect of this within your own consciousness.
I
But
see.
if you are seeing it in a different way, then it is a co creation as well. So it is really not one or the other, but both of these ideas, as you are able to experience it in either way you wish. But if you see your own power, from my perspective, I will always give you that. of the greatest power and the greatest understanding of your own power. So, in the terms that I use, you create this. This is the greatest way to observe your own power in this.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yes!
Um,
Also, the one idea that I wish to express as well, um, within this sexual energy idea, I have expressed that the sexual energy is a very low energy, and there is one correction that can be made within this. It is not a correction that information is incorrect, but it is an addition to information. When you experience a sexual energy and you attach the love energy to this, you are able to love, not only love the physical act of sex, but be able to experience the sexual act with love in your heart towards the entity that you are experiencing, love for
yeah.
the area around. This brings the very low vibration of sex to a very high vibration, one that is equal to the heart vibration itself, because you are bringing this into this. So if you are sharing love with an entity and this leads to a sexual experience, but it is not a sexual experience only
Yeah.
exerted and produced by the physical aspect, this is when sex is able to have a high vibration.
Yeah, I'm ashamed to say that at that time period, definitely did not have the perception I do now on basically sex. I I view myself as a very different person from back then, in all honesty. But
Yes, and this is not
definitely,
a judgment, it is only a perception, something that I wish to express to you.
yeah,
This is not a judgment within. Even if one is a very highly sexual deviant entity who wishes um, to rape or to kill an entity, I am able to express the same amount of love that I am able to express to one, such as what you would see to be my wife or child. This is a very great
wow.
experience, so there is no judgment within this.
I wish to very much attain that level.
Yes, it is able to be obtained, but going through this density that you are beginning to transfer at this time to the fourth density, you must spend the entire density of evolution to be able to experience love that is equivalent uh, to what you say to be unconditional love.
I see. Well, I feel a lot of progress has been made just within even the past half year.
Yes, very great vibrational raising.
Yes, yes, very.
Yes.
Um, I want I wanted to know what would have happened if I stayed and let that barrier dissipate.
This idea is not able to be expressed by me. I am able to experience many varieties of what you say probabilities to be, but within this experience, I am not able to say, because in one way, you are still having this experience now. It is not truly in the past. You are only perceiving it to be in the past because you have focused your energy upon something else.
Wow. So in one existence, I did stay and let that veil thin.
Yes, in many of
Completely.
these existences. In many of them, you did not, but you had different outcomes. And in some of them, you did not enter this state whatsoever at all. Some of them you did, but did not sexually uh, interact with anyone. And yet in others, you connected directly with them and sit down and had a very great conversation with these entities as well.
It sounded like that was very possible too, but me picking up on almost a sexual erotic energy emanating from them, and it was just kind of it was almost like I was rolling a dice. Really, I was like, what should I do? I'm like, it's too close to my childhood memories, sensations. I could lose my body. Is that even possible? Could I lose my body in that state? Because that
Uh,
was one of my biggest fears.
No, within this idea that you express, this is a very common misconception with many entities regarding astral projected state. Also, in a deep meditative state, many entities believe that they are not, that they are being cut from their physical body. Even in a coma, this is not true entirely. you are not able to have a losing of the physical body. There is also no such thing as what you say psychic attacks to be or astral projected attacks unless your belief system allows these to be. So if you understand that you have the greatest amount of power in your own existence that you are experiencing, and if you also understand that all entities who connect to you are equally as strong in their existence, but not able to overpower your own consciousness within yours, if you know your power, and if you believe this idea, then you will be able to experience very easy and very lack of worry during a astral projected state.
Wow. Thank you so much, Treb. You're amazing.
Yes, you are as well.
Thank you. Um, I it's weighed on me a lot since then because and I hope you can give me the honest answer. Did I at all hurt that person that I had the interaction with? Because that's my biggest fear.
No, within this idea, you are connected to this entity, and although they are co creating, they are only using a very small portion of their consciousness to co create this, while you are using a great amount of consciousness. So, if you see it as this way, let us express in an example. Let us say you are watching the television, you are petting your animal, you are texting, and you are also listening to a music in one ear. Whatever you wish to experience the greatest, you will put your perception on. But let us say that petting this animal has the least of your attention within all four of these tasks. You are giving less consciousness to this. In the dream that she is experiencing, uh, this portion of consciousness that is giving a sexual experience with you is equivalent to that of petting this animal. It is very small and not even noticed or tolerated, not tolerated, but experienced by this entity.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes,
You actually lifted a huge weight, but also I can actually uh, explaining it that way kind of makes me laugh in a way, just because I um,
yes,
thinking that
it's
she's
very
just petting a
great.
cat instead is far more better, but not even paying attention to that cat. All right, thank you so much.
Yes,
You've impacted my life in ways that I can't even fully express to you how great. Um, I did end up talking to Roy, and he did help me a lot with um, the vision, the extra sensory, and I just wanted to thank you once more, just for all that you've pretty much how much you've helped me. You've really ta talking to you has been a very big milestone in my life.
yes, and it has been a great connection to be able to speak to you as well. But I wish to express one idea. It is
Yes.
not your connection to me that has made you feel this greatness. It is the excitement of being able to reflect, as I am only acting as a mirror for you to place your own energy on and to look back. I am only what the host tends to call a very clear mirror to use. So
Hmm.
I am able to express these ideas back to you in a more clear way. Um, and within the idea of expressing joy and connection to this man, the one that you call Roy, um, you must have a great understanding. As much as he has helped you, you have also helped him.
Awesome. Well, he helps. It feels like a really good sharing relationship altogether, and it really is thanks to you because I didn't even I would never have known about him. So thank you once again.
Yes, you are very welcome.
Um, let me see here. I think you might have already answered this, but I wrote it down just because I put an important note by it. I've heard that when higher density entities come close to you, that if you're not strong, or you're not, I don't know what the word is. Um, well, basically, the effect is when the high density entity comes in close contact with you, if you have any fears, they all come straight to surface very, very, very quickly. Is this why when I have contact with a lot of these entities that I feel myself either dip into a very, very almost snowball effect of fear when they're present and I have to kind of catch myself? Is that what is happening?
Yes, it can be the experience that you are explaining, but there are differences. This does not always have to happen to entities when they are connecting to these higher density beings. Many entities who do not believe in the higher density beings, will they be able to experience them without any fear or any sensory whatsoever because they do not believe them, so they are not directly in their existence. But for someone such as you, who is, let us say, sensitive to the energies around them, then this experience is much greatly more affecting, especially this of a negative density entity, or what you would say to be a negative density entity, one that is of a type 2.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, well, I assume like the Type 2 would use that to his advantage.
Yes, this is often done with entities who have very high
Yeah,
vibrational status. They are using fearful techniques so that they may be able to connect to them and use this as a food of sorts.
yeah, definitely. It's very hard to deflect. What makes it hard though, because I feel like with the alien experience I talked to you last time, um, higher, just it being a higher density when they're present. Um, Usually I'm caught by surprise or I'm not expecting their presence. Um, and when I don't see them, but I feel them first, I can't discern which one of the two it is because it feels. Do you kind of get what I'm going at? Like, I feel
Yes,
like I do injustice to the ones that are actually there to help me because when they are present, the sensation is very similar, and it's hard for me to. It's like I don't have a chance, and it's kind of unfair to that entity that I'm already on guard when
yes.
they enter.
If you are understanding the greatest idea that, again, being connected to Source makes you the most powerful entity that you are able to be, that no negative entity may affect you or hurt you while they are disconnected because they are not as high in energy as you are when you are connected to Source. Understanding these ideas along with the fact that you are co creating every experience, so
Hmm.
none may be one that is outside of what is helpful or useful for you. This should give you the idea to know your own power and to know your own ability so that it will not affect you either way, whether it is of negative or positive, and then you will be able to experience directly what this entity's vibration is because only the negative ones will make you in a negative state. The positive ones will make you in a more positive
Yeah,
state.
understood. I just want to finally deconstruct. I know I've been more conditioned. I've had more con from a negative ones, and I have a habit now that instantly switches on when I get that sensation of something else being in the room with me, and I want to finally be able to deconstruct that. So you giving me that
Yes,
information helps me a great deal, so I can finally just let go.
yes, and I hope that it does a great job of being able to help you within this. And I wish to express to you as well that if you have time for 1 to 2 more important questions, to please place them now as the time is beginning to become shorter.
Yes. Uh, I had a dream a couple months ago. My friend actually said she was going to give me a dream because I don't typically remember my dreams. And I next morning I woke up and I had the most insane dream, and it was a dream where I was like a little ball of energy, and I was in a some kind of machine, and this machine kept on kind of shooting this ball of electricity in this circular path, almost like it was making it vibrate higher. Where it got really, really weird is I then became in physical form, but when I was in physical form, I was an alien, like a gray alien, a gray, and this whole dream was seen in the color blue. Everything was blue, or maybe there's just a blue light. And that's all we had there. I don't really know. What got really weird though was that there's a little boy who felt like he was my kid, and he was really happy to see me, and he had a smile, and it was kind of like he had waited for me to come back. And he had hair. He looked like a gray with hair like me though, and unlike other grays that I'd seen, he had a smile, like he could smile. So it wasn't completely like the typical grays I'm aware of, but it was weird because it was like my kid. He was my kid. And can you help me understand that? Was that like real or?
Within your own dream connection that you have, there's always aspects that connect you for a very specific reason. Within this dream, the only idea that I'm able to express to you is that within your meditative state, again, you will be able to find something that is much greater, resonant with you, than what I would be able to express to you. The higher self does not think it appropriate for it to be said until a few more belief systems that you have are readjusted.
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much.
Yes!
That says all I need to know about that then.
Yes!
Last question then. I've learned that there is a man, an indigenous man who is age 1025 on this planet. Could you validate that first off to me?
I am not able to connect with another entity without the permission of this entity. I will express to you that there are entities who live much greater time periods than the 101 to 108. That seems to be very impressive to other humans on your Earth. But I will also express that not all of these have complete human DNA within them.
Okay. I see. So, were there any humans that are over 300 on the planet?
To the experience of entities that I have connected to, or ones who I have been made aware through other entities, within this time, not now.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. I heard that from that other channeler, Bashar. I caught that, and I was just curious to ask you about it. Is that all the time?
Yes, this is all the time that we have for this evening. So I would wish to express to you the great idea of connection and love, and also the expression that understanding your own capabilities, understanding your own power, and also being able to see yourself in as great as a perspective as I am able to see you, this should be able to give you much greater insight in your own worth and your own power. And I hope that this has been made abundantly clear throughout all of the connections that we have had, and especially within this session alone.
Yes, thank you so much, Treb. I can't even give you my warmest thanks. I thank you so much.
Yes, I give you a great thanks as well, because it has been very great and very enlightening to speak to you and connect to you and to see another aspect of myself throughout the galaxy. And this is very exciting for me as well. And with this being expressed, I will leave you this evening in love and light, and we will experience each other again or speak very soon.
You take care, Treb. Thank you so much.
Yes, good night.
Good night.